Tonight, American Native tribes are across the state, including right here in Hampton Roads, are getting something they've wanted for a long time.
President Trump signed a bill into law granting them federal recognition. Robert Boyd tells us this gives them access to much-needed federal funds.
Well, I'm in the home of the chief of the Nansemond tribe, and I'm holding his staff, which has 6 feathers on it, each one representing one of the Virginia Indian tribes that was federally recognized on Monday.
Yeah, this is a Shaman's rattle.
Chief Lee Lockamy of the Nansemond tribe loves showing off Native American artifacts found right here in Hampton Roads, dating back to the 1600s.
Artifacts don't grow on trees either, so you got to go out and find this stuff or be lucky enough to have some family that had some and it's passed down to you.
This week, the Nansemond tribe was among 6 tribes in Virginia to be federally recognized. Lockamy was on the floor of the Senate when the bill was passed, something he's been waiting for 20 years.
It was pretty emotional. In my lifetime, I've seen this go up and down, and almost go through the last couple of years. And, you know, it's heartbreaking sometimes. You get your all set on it.
The law gives the tribes access to federal funds for health care, housing, and education.
It doesn't pay to be an Indian. It's very expensive and a lot of time.
The Nansemond tribe, which is made up of more than 300 members in Hampton Roads, already has a blueprint for how they plan to use the grant money.
We want to build a bigger tribal museum. We have the Boy Scouts that come out there on the lands and camp, and this year we're going to have some Girl Scouts come out also. We need to have a lot of the kids in the tribes and all the tribes try to be historians. Historians are what tell the story.
In Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
The Atlantic Coast Pipeline is hitting another legal challenge. Today, a coalition of groups filed a petition challenging the federal regulators' decision to approve the proposed pipeline. Dominion Energy is a lead developer. It says federal regulators did a thorough review before approving the pipeline. The natural gas pipeline would run from West Virginia through Virginia, including parts of Hampton Roads and into North Carolina.
After months of pushing a bill to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana has been struck down.
A Virginia State Senate committee voted against it. Chanu talked to people who are pro-decriminalization.
Well, David and Regina, advocates with the groups Virginia, NORML, and Decriminalize Norfolk say they're disappointed this bill ended this way. They thought this was going to be the year this bill passed because of support they got early on from a Republican. Virginians hoping for marijuana to be decriminalized have to wait yet again. A Virginia State Senate committee voted to kill a decriminalization bill initially brought on by Democratic Senator Adam Ebbin. It changed the punishment for marijuana possession from a criminal misdemeanor to a civil penalty.
Very disappointed.
Cindy Cutler with pro-marijuana group NORML and Decriminalize Norfolk says the decision shocked her and her colleagues. They had a lot of faith in the bill passing after it seemed to have gotten the support of Republican Senate Majority Leader Tommy Norment. But Norman said he changed his mind because decriminalization wouldn't pass the House committee.
He came up with an expungement bill that was really setting us back. It put in more crimes and more legal red tape, so we're hoping that that bill dies as well. So we're just really disappointed because, as I said, he made the promise.
Senator Norman's efforts did, however, launch a study by the Virginia State Crime Commission. In the report, it shows thousands of Virginians are convicted each year for marijuana, and the numbers have increased. In 2008, there were about 6,500 convictions for first-time offenders. In 2017, more than 10,000.
We're very disappointed that Tommy Norment did not champion the bill that he promised to do.
Cutler and other advocates, however, don't believe this is the end of the fight for decriminalization.
There's no doubt that there's someone out there that's going to champion this for us, and it really helps if it's someone that's in control.
Now, Senator Norman's bill now goes to the Senate Finance Committee after the Senate Courts Committee unanimously passed it. Now, we did reach out to Senator Norman's office tonight, but we haven't heard back, and once we do, we will update you on that. Chanu, 13 News Now.
U.S. Navy officials are accusing Russia of unsafe military practices. They released this video which shows a Russian jet flying within 5 feet of a U.S. Navy surveillance plane over the Black Sea. The Navy says the Russian plane crossed through the direct flight path of the U.S. plane, causing the American plane to fly through jet wash. We're told this was an unprovoked maneuver. The U.S. says there have been several mid-air encounters over the last year between the U.S. and Russian planes.
Also new tonight, President Trump has signed a new executive order to keep the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay open. President Obama had tried for both his terms to close Gitmo. President George W. Bush opened Guantanamo after the September 11th attacks to detain and interrogate suspected terrorists. At its peak in 2003, it held about 680 detainees. President Bush transferred about 500 of them before leaving office.
Tonight, President Trump gave his first State of the Union address, promising a new era of prosperity.
He talked about a wide range of topics, continuing with his motto, "Make America Great Again." He opened with a call for unity, talking about bipartisanship.
President also talked about his legislative agenda. Topping his list is infrastructure and immigration. ABC's Lana Zach reports from Capitol Hill.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
In his first State of the Union address, President Trump focused on the economy and his signature legislative victory, tax reform.
This, in fact, is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream.
The White House promised an uplifting, unifying speech from President Trump.
I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people.
But some on the left expressed skepticism at the president's calls for unity. Several Democrats boycotted the speech. Others wore African textiles in protest of the president's controversial comments about immigrants from Africa. And many female Democrats wore black and Reese stickers in solidarity with the Me Too movement. But bipartisanship will be needed to pass a new infrastructure bill and immigration reform.
This vital reform is necessary not just for our economy, but for our security and for the future of America.
And Congress has only a week and a half to come to a consensus on the fate of DACA before time runs out on the current continuing resolution to fund the government.
And if the applause tonight serves as any indication, the president faces some strict opposition from several Democrats and even some Republicans to many of his proposals, including immigration. Lana Zach, ABC News, the Capitol.
Reaction is still coming in from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Tonight, we heard from 2nd District Congressman Scott Taylor, who thought the president struck the right tone.
He struck a conciliatory tone of unity, of bringing people together for common ground and common bond, not just the Democrats or Republicans, but the people of America in general. I think he did a good job.
Republican Congressman Rob Whitman also thought the president's address had a positive overall message.
He was presidential in tone. He reached out and said, let's do these things together, both sides of the aisle, House and Senate, to get the work of the nation done.
Senator Tim Kaine just released a statement following the address. This is what he says about the current fight over immigration and the so-called dreamers. If he's serious about getting things done, the first area of compromise is clear. He should stop using offensive rhetoric to tout a plan that would divide families. Check out the 13 News Now app for more coverage of tonight's State of the Union. And if you want to watch the president's address, if you missed it, you can find that on our Facebook page.
Former Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour got caught with a gun at the airport today. Barbour says he will pay a fine. He was arrested after TSA workers found a loaded handgun with 5 bullets in his briefcase as he went through an airport security checkpoint. The former governor says he forgot he had the gun in his briefcase. The fine begins at nearly $4,000. Barbour was the Republican National Committee chairman in the mid-1990s and governor from 2004 to 2012.